It's so absurd. You could have been a newt or bird, but if you're tough, you might have heard that life is rough. And from womb to the worm is a very short term. From the worm to the womb, you got plenty of room. A goal in life is get ahead. A goal in death is to be dead. Reverse the roles, and what we've said is full of holes. But from womb to the worm is a very sharp term, and from worm to the womb you got plenty of room. A little bit of this, a little bit of that, they join together in a most primeval vat. An arm or leg or two, and then a roll of fat. Is that where it's at?
En zo gingen de deuren van de hemel open en daar was Snakefinger, weliswaar niet lijfelijk meer aanwezig, hoewel we dat ons af en toe afvragen. Wel lijfelijk hier aanwezig het management van The Residents uit San Francisco. Gentlemen, welcome to the front line. What was this we have been listening to?
This was Snakefinger. It was some tracks that he did a long time ago, and they were remixed when we had a wake for him after he died.
So the both of you are managers from The Residents. Were you managers from Snakefinger as well, that you have this material?
No, not exactly. He worked a lot with The Residents, and we originally used to own Ralph Records. And as such, we worked with him very closely. So
we financed a couple of his first records that were produced with The Residents, and so we still have that material.
Maybe the best thing is that we're first going to listen to a track from the God in Three Persons CD, which is a bit more of like a concept CD, on which we will talk after this number. This is from the God in Three Persons CD, Hard and Tenderly.
Mr. X indeed, the special one that saw so deep inside the souls of those that were so lonely. Oh, I was down beneath the bottom with my vacant staring, caught 'em gaily parading up and down the street. Followed by some stinking masses, spraying fumes and giving gases to the brown and nearly worn out air. But they had that certain presence, like the ether or the essence of the cleansing upper atmosphere. A laughing, loving, and without a doubt, they simply strode about the streets that other creatures left alone. I ran across myself compulsive with a feeling of a pulsing drum that pounded underneath my skin. A tingling in my tangled brain was screaming that this was insane, but it also told me touch it too. Aside, I told the masses, and with that I made my passage from the lonely to the only side. Openly they smiled to greet me like they always knew they'd meet me somewhere walking up and down that road. I knew I must appear as someone far beyond the common come on, so I couldn't say my name was Ed. I said I'm Mr. X who wants to come and who expects to help and guide your efforts to succeed. They laughed a little bit at me and then said, Mr. X indeed, and hugged me somehow hard and tenderly.
God in Three Persons CD, Hard and Tenderly, The Residents. Maar laat ik jullie kleine bange hartjes die niet veel geld hebben geruststellen. Deze CD is niet CD only, is it, gentlemen?
No. It's CD only initially. Actually, the LP, it's a 2-record set LP, should be out rather soon. I don't know exactly when it's set. And it's also coming out in an instrumental version, both CD and LP as well. It's the soundtrack to the CD.
The CD is mainly about the problems, relationships. Is that what I understand well?
It seems to be one of the things that's dealt with it, but there are a lot of different things that are involved, and most of which are things that are known more to the residents than anybody else.
Mm-hmm.
But the story is definitely more of an allegory or metaphor than a direct story itself.
There will be another part, a thing which we're going to listen to right now. What is it exactly?
Well, this is sort of like God in Three Persons is it's sort of a continuing project. It's going to be a series of releases, most likely. And what's coming out, one of the things, the next pieces is like sort of a single, well, other than the instrumental version, is this sort of a single version. It's like a 20-minute CD. It's really good towards CD. People should really buy CD players. Records like Skip and Scratch and stuff like that.
CDs did it sometime as well. What are we going to listen to?
This is Double Shot. The reason for Double Shot was a song that was recorded by the Swinging Medallions in the 60s. And there is a line from that which occurs a lot in God in Three Persons. There's
a musical
line in it. Double Shot being somewhat reference to the fact that they're twins in God in Three Persons, and so it's a double shot is like a musical reference or sort of a musical connection between them. So the residents went ahead and recorded the song Double Shot as sort of a single thing. It's not on the CD.
worst hangover that I ever had. Oh, what happened to me last night? That girl of mine, she loved me so right. She loved me so long, she loved me so hard. I finally passed out in her front yard. It wasn't wine I had too much of. It was a double shot of my baby's love. A double shot of my baby's love.
Double shot of his baby's love.
It wasn't wine I had too much of. Just a double shot of my baby's love. Double shot of my baby's love.
Double shot of his baby's love.
It wasn't wine I had too much of. It was a double shot of my baby's love. As I walked into the darkness, I could sense a woken sharpness penetrating deep within the room. Then I touched her arm and throat and found beneath my hand a coat of moisture, though the night was not too warm. Then I seemed to hear a snicker, but I was so busy with her that I did not notice him until I felt he put his hands around my throat and squeezed as if the sounds I made should not escape into the air, causing me to moan too loudly as I jerked on out the fire that I no longer could control. I was first to see the flashing blinding light of liquid lashing out my arms, but my convulsions spread to my writhing young companions who were lost in unabandoned cream that soon would crack and fade away.
Double Shot. Een cover van The Residents, oorspronkelijk van de Swinging Medallions. You could look at God in Three Persons like some sort of opera, or I mean, you know, it's a story. You could make a story out of it. Are the Residents planning to perform it on stage?
Yeah, they're definitely planning to perform it on stage. They hope to be doing it probably in about a year to a year and a half.
That's then we have to wait a while for that. On the back of the CD, there was a black square in which the Residents tell the people how sorry they feel about Snakefinger dying. How much did the death of Snakefinger influence the musical outlooks of the Residents?
I doubt if it really did much at all. He was scheduled to have been on this. He had heard some of the rough tracks before he left on the European tour. And one of the first things he was going to do when he got back, was that he was going to add his guitar tracks. And so they are definitely missing. But some of the horn sections and things were done to replace his parts. I don't think that it's necessarily affecting their outlook on music. It's going to affect the way they sound when normally you heard that guitar playing, because they're not like now advertising for a new guitar player. I don't think that will be a part of their sound into the future.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think that the effect actually was more the effect of the loss of a friend than, loss of the element in their music.
And of course, I think they really regret it. A hard loss of a friend for 20 years or something like that.
Right.
Right. What's the part we're going to listen to next? It's the Snakefinger live track, isn't it? And it's quite special.
Yeah, I brought this along because I thought it was interesting. He had a heart attack in Linz last year and died, for people who don't know. But he had one heart attack before in Australia, also on tour. And this is the final song from the show in Melbourne before he had his first heart attack, which hospitalized him for 6 weeks there. This is Wat Wilbur, live, Melbourne, Australia, 1981.
See it sails as a clock with a rip. The rip is tearing and rotting away from the children that play with tomorrow today. What, Wilbur? What did you say? What, Wilbur? What did you say? What, Wilbur? What did you say? What, Wilbur? Then there's something inside of me that's coming alive. Filled me with vigor and it's giving me drive. Show me the way to the shelter I'll need. I won't laugh if Ronald Reagan plays. What, Wilbur? Please, you fucker. What, Wilbur? I won't laugh. What, Wilbur? What did you say? What, Wilbur? This is what I say.
Snakefinger. De man was levendiger dan ooit toen in Melbourne en dat doet hij zichzelf geen 2 keer meer na. What happened after the death of Snakefinger? You held a wake.
Yeah, one of the problems was that he died in Austria and was buried in England. So that means that us, the residents, and hundreds of his other friends in San Francisco didn't really get to say goodbye or do anything at all to observe his death. And so Homer and I decided that we should throw a party for him, have a formal wake for him. And so we had a rather large party with a couple of hundred people, private party, which had several people that he'd worked with perform live, including the residents. Yeah, and it was quite a bash.
It was a tribute.
Everyone got drunk.
Everybody wanted to send him off in good style, and I think that's the way it went.
I think there were quite a lot of people who were pretty shocked about that. I mean, having a party because someone died.
Oh, but
Well, if you knew more, Snakefinger was a big fan of the blues, and if you know more about, sort of southern New Orleans style funerals, they have parties for people. They have bands that march down the street and party, and the whole idea is that, the person that's dead would much rather have you have a party in their honor than sit around and cry and grieve and whatever. And so that was really the idea, was to have a party and celebration in his name.
What sort of musical concept had the residents in mind when they took their plans for the wake?
Well, they actually had done research into laments, 16th, 17th century laments, English laments, and they adapted these sort of into an electronic style, which they performed. Although they opened the set with Hank Williams' 6 More Miles to the Graveyard, which they had recorded with on Stars and Hank Forever.
The residents are interested in putting out the material that you're about to hear now. The Wake material is sort of, their final tribute to Snakefinger in a way. And they're interested in having that out and released in some form, but at this point, it's not certain yet how that will happen.
But we can listen to it the next couple of 20 minutes. The Snakefinger Wake from the residents.
Live
the tension of the string, as I did not long ago, when my numbers floated low. Grief on me has struck my lute, and my tongue at one time knew. Ask me why I do not sing to the tension of the string, as I did not long ago, when my numbers floated low. Grief for me has struck my lute, and my tongue at one time knew. Ask me why I do not sing to the tension of the string, as I did not long ago, when my numbers floated low. Grief for me has struck my lute, and my tongue at one time knew. Ask me why I do not sing to the tension of the string, as I did not long ago, when my numbers floated low. Grief for me has struck my lute, and my tongue at one time
I did not long ago, when my numbers wounded low. Grief on me has struck my lute, and my tongue at one time
guard thy heart, faithful friends, loath to depart, though friends together may not always remain, loath to depart, sing once again.
this almost sounds like modern composer stuff. I didn't know that Snakefinger had been studying for Jerry Lee Lewis.
Cantaten tutor Dyin Prunen.
Oh, I didn't know he had been studying for that either. But it's really weird. I mean, to hear a thing like that, which one part was recorded in '72 and another part in '87. It seems pretty tight-fitting together. That makes me think of the rumor that is going that, which is not really something to be surprised with, that Snakefinger is not dead. Maybe you heard those rumors as well. Can you deny them, or?
I hadn't heard them.
Well, I say it because I heard that Snakefinger will be playing in the future on New Residence albums, New Residence music.
Well, it's certainly been suggested that the Residents could sample Snakefinger, guitar playing that he did, and use it on future records. And there's sort of mixed feelings about that. On one hand, it sort of seems like it'd be kind of a strange thing to do. On the other hand, when you think about it from Snakefinger's point of view, he'd probably be quite happy to be sampled and put on future records. So he might show up.
You could see him grinning somewhere high up in the sky there. Right. Do you think the Residents also could need Snakefinger's guitar playing to have something more like a rock feel in their music?
Do you think that they need that in the music?
I don't know. Do you think so?
No, I don't think so. I think that the music that the Residents do is pretty flexible, and Snakefinger was not, always involved in it. Sometimes he was, sometimes he wasn't, and when they wanted a more rock-flavored stuff, a lot of times they would use him, but then they didn't always even use him that way. Sometimes they used him more in a jazz way. It's different things. They used him on Eskimo mainly for his singing. So they used him different ways.
Right, so the Residents probably will not take any samples from that Melbourne live concert, from which we will listen to another track right now.
Tonight, down today, everything black, everything grey, everything mellow, cloudy and dim, everything hollow, pulling me in. I cannot see stars and light. Where is the black? Where is the white? I cannot live looking at grey. Show me some lines, what can I say? Who's the culprit? Who's the victim? Who's the culprit? Who's the victim? Which is the model? Which is the pose? Which is the archer? Which is the rose? Which is the gardener mowing the grass? Which is the long reach? Which is the raft? Which is the figure? Which is the chief? Which is the merchant? Which is the thief? Which is the long reach? Which is the crotch? Which is the bottom? Which is the top? Who's the culprit? Who's the victim? 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 Give us some excitement out on the street. Give me a hot day, 110. Give some sugar, give me a friend. Give some music, make it too loud. Give me a good guy, make me feel proud. Give me a fight, it can be rough. for some money, more than enough. Who's the culprit? Who's the victim? Who's the culprit? Who's the victim?
Snakefinger nog wel in leven in 1981 in Melbourne in Australië, maar niet meer toen de Residents hun laatste CD God in Three Persons opnamen. What sort of musical outlooks played a part when the Residents made the music for the CD?
Well, there's certain musical themes that run through the CD that come from other pieces of music that actually aren't on it. There's the double shot that was played earlier in the program, but there's also a Southern Protestant hymn called Holy, Holy, Holy. That there's a musical theme from that runs through God in Three Persons constantly.
And does that have something to do with the title, or, I mean, because it's a pretty strange Protestant title, God in Three Persons?
Well, yeah, that God in Three Persons actually is part of the lyrics of the hymn, Holy, Holy, Holy. It's God in Three Persons, Blessed Trinity.
And I think that the Residents at the moment are working on a follow-up to the double shot, which will be Holy, 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 which will be the next thing.
They're going to do a disco version of Holy,
Disco,
Holy, Holy.
Holy, Holy, Holy.
A disco version. Oh, I think the Protestants would like that. Thank you for coming to the studio. Say hi to the Residents when you're back in San Francisco, while we're going to listen to that last part that will be on the 3-inch CD, and which is called
Kiss of Flesh
by the Residents. Het afscheidszoentje van de Residents. We bedanken nogmaals Hardy Fox en Homer Flynn van het management voor hun komst en al het verkwikkend zeldzame geluidsmateriaal. En voor wie nog meer Residents wil, vanavond vertoont het Roxy Theater aan het Amsterdamse Singel video's van Amerika's meest unieke kindervriend, Pee Wee Herman. Een tv-programma waarvoor de Residents de decors en de muziek verzorgen en daarnaast ook video's van de Residents zelf. Vanavond dus vanaf 11 uur. Frontline kwam weer van je eigen homemade hardboiled terreurteam Mirlo Bush, Luc Jansen, Berry Kamer en Gerard J. Walhoff. Volgende week kraakt de Frontline onder deel 2 van het vervolgverhaal New York 10 jaar na No. Voor vanavond, blijf luisteren, blijf VPRO.